Hey guys, and welcome back, and today I want to tackle a subject I actually talked about a lot on the channel, both this channel and the other YouTube channel, quite a long time ago. It's kind of one of my early breakout subjects, and although when I tackled it back then, although I was informed, it has to be said that things have moved forward quite a lot. And whether you're a NAS owner, Synology, QNAP, Asus Store, TerraMaster, whichever one you're using, chances are if you want to enjoy your media that you own, there's probably one of three programs you are using: Plex, Kodi, or MB. Now, don't get me wrong, there are of course first-party alternatives from all of their respective brands that let you filter that content via DLNA to your TV and your hi-fi system. So I accept there are lots of different programs out there, but these three have just come up time and time again. Now, I could focus on MB, but it has to be said that I have not used MB anywhere near as much as I have Kodi and Plex, so it would be very unfair of me to introduce them in this comparison. Take my word for it though, I do have an MB overview video coming very soon for 2019, featuring a QNAP and a Nimbus store just behind me. But today, I want to revisit that subject of Kodi and Plex. And although I've tackled this subject a couple of times on YouTube in the last 3 years, I am going to readdress them today. Now, I do recommend you either watch those videos or at least have a base understanding of both these programs going forward, because I can't spend the entire day really referring into them, but I am going to give a quick overview of both of them right now. Now, Kodi, for those that isn't aware, is based on the XMBC system of media server. It's a control center which gives you the ability with a graphical user interface to enjoy all of your photos, music, and of course, videos. Now, what they've got with the user interface there, you've got photos, you've got music, you've got pictures, you've also got loads of add-ons. The current version, I believe version 18, version layer, is currently supported unofficially on both Asus Store and QNAP NAS systems. You can get those applications unofficially from their respective unofficial app centers and install them on those respective NASs. They've got HDMI out, and it allows you to enjoy the media on your NAS in a direct means of access with a remote control or an IP application that allows you to turn your phone into a remote control. You can enjoy all of your files, enjoy playlists, you can change the skins, and it's almost exclusively within the context of NAS designed around network access. That is, that your NAS, where the media will live via Kodi, has to be on the same network, the same internet connection as your phone, your tablet, your PC, your whatever. And I know that's a caveman way to put it, but there's no better way to describe network and keeping it chewable and user-friendly. Now, Kodi has another big part to it that is also grown and developed, and it has to be said, taken some criticism over time. That is to be said, the add-ons of Kodi. It's the ability to have loads of streaming services. Now, there are loads and loads of completely legit, official and legal streaming sources. Indeed, ones like YouTube and other online platforms for streaming media, again including Plex, including Netflix, iPlayer and more, that allow you to enjoy the libraries of streamed video, music and more from these places via Kodi on your user interface. But there's also some dodgy ones. There's ones where people can stream movies that aren't even out yet. They can download those files if they choose. And although Kodi has got loads and loads of things going for it in terms of subtitles, in terms of the general user interface and graphical design of Kodi, as well as being able to scrape metadata with the right plugins, it is a great user interface locally. But that's the point. Locally, Kodi, it can be accessed over the internet, it can be accessed remotely, but definitely nowhere near as user friendly as something like Plex, which brings me on to Plex. Now, Plex is a multimedia tool for accessing your data on your NAS, just like Kodi, but externally. It's far, even though it's splintered off from the original XMBC, media foundation, this splinter of it is based around the idea of not only network but internet access. Now, Plex can still be utilised locally with an HDMI port, just the same way Kodi can, but its primary means is one to access all of your media via as many client devices as possible. Clients, of course, being mobile phones, tablets and stuff like that. Basically, what you're watching the device on, including your TV. Now, what makes Plex so appealing to a number of users are two main factors. One, incredibly easy setup. When anyone that's ever had to try and set up remote access to a server in any way or form will know that things like DDNS, static IPs, and lots of other mucking around make communication both to and from a server in a network environment very, very tough. Plex makes you install the Plex application and then create a Plex account. That sorts the DDNS and sorts the remote area access to the content of your NAS over Plex, a two-click system. It's actually easier to set up a Plex account on a NAS than it is to set up the NAS's own first-party internet access with things like Synology's Quick Connect and QNAP's My QNAP. All of these options, although very, very easy to set up, aren't as easy as setting up an internet access point via Plex. Now, the second reason Plex is so damn appealing is because of its design. Because it's being accessed anywhere in the world, its main contenders are things like Netflix, like Amazon Instant, iPlayer, all those sort of online Hulu streaming services. And what they try to give you is a user interface and a design that is as close as possible to those third-party streaming services. So one of the inherent downfalls of things like Netflix and online streaming platforms and Now TV and all that lark is that you don't actually own the media you're watching. You're streaming it and you're paying a monthly surcharge, but you can only access realistically, for that price at least, what they choose to give you. And if you're watching something that's 5 or 6 seasons long and then a month comes along and they've removed those other seasons, then what? Because there are means, but it's not very intuitive, and the money you've spent only gives you access to the libraries they're giving you at that time. Now, there's also other inherent limitations to Plex as well. Different regions have different content. You might be able to watch an episode of Handmaid's Tale in this country, but then you can't get it in another. That's something more inherent to those online HBO and all those different platforms. Game of Thrones fans will know what I mean. Plex doesn't have those limitations. Plex allows you to access your movies, your TV shows, your data, and does it with scraping metadata from online sources such as IMDb and other databases to get thumbnails, descriptions, actors, ratings, suggestions, and basically gives you an alternative to those third-party streaming platforms, but it's your data and you own it on your NAS. Now, you may already see that I've been using Plex a lot more than Kodi in the last few years and therefore got to know a lot of its kinks. There's still definitely a place for Kodi in this world, and I'd be lying if I said I don't use both of these services. As little as 4 or 5 months ago, I did a video where Amazon's Fire Stick I installed, because Plex is on there but Kodi isn't. You can unofficially install Kodi on a Fire Stick, and when I did that, Kodi on a Fire Stick is hands down the best application out there to control media in your home over DLNA. People can, sing praise about things like Fire Stick and Chromecast and all those different little streaming dongles and stuff like that, but none of them support DLNA very well, and that's an inherent thing that's been done on purpose. We talk about things like Amazon Alexa, which is a great little idea, it might be on all the time and stuff like that. And NAS brands are trying to break into that, with Synology being the best one out there right now. But there's still no denying that the brands that produce products like that, and again with Fire Stick as well, they want you to use a third-party platform. They do not heavily invest in accessing your media very much. Even if you do own one of these devices, and if you've ever tried to use your music library or your photo collection, they will ask you to port your data over to their cloud platform and then you access it there. On the one hand, one could argue the reason for that is legality and ensuring that you actually own the content. On the other hand, they're just trying to get people to pay for their services, and it's a hell of a lot better for them to have you paying monthly fees rather than buying the odd intermittent product. They make far more money in the long run. So that's why a lot of people have moved data over to NAS. But I'm straying completely away from the point between Kodi and Plex. Now, Kodi's advantages of being beautifully network accessible over DLNA, having a great, slick, fast user interface to enjoy your media, and an almost unparalleled level of support of different media types. I think the only thing that plays more file formats than Kodi is VLC. Kodi manages to give you a kind of Swiss Army knife tool to enjoy your all of your NAS media, all the files you own over the network, plus all the other devices on the network with their own versions of Kodi, your mobile phones, your laptops, your tablets, your whatever. All of that data can be shared. So all the other media on, say, this device over Kodi can be shared with that device, can be shared with that device. And it's that great network of all of those files. It isn't just about the NAS, it's everything. But again, the key word there was network, because although it can be made internet accessible, it is not done incredibly user-friendly, and it's in many regards painful to do, and by no means as reliable as Plex. Inversely, Plex has unparalleled, and I would say some of the best means to access your media anywhere in the world, and the key word is your media anywhere in the world, not just any old TV show that's streamed with them choosing what you want to watch. But once you bring Plex in the home, it becomes incredibly frustrating. If you use Plex in the home and you've got a NAS with Plex installed, one of these bad boys here, and you want to watch that media on the TV without using the HDMI connection, maybe you're on a Synology or something, it's nowhere near as intuitive and still requires a lot of internet access. And although you've got that graphical user interface, it's nowhere near as slick or as fast as accessible as Kodi. Fast forwarding 4K media, network or internet based, heavy 4K media in Plex is nowhere near as fast or the low latency of Kodi. And I think, again, as much as I'm being repetitious, but that's what it comes down to. If you're looking to access your media in the network in one location, and you're almost never going to be accessing that media anywhere in the world, then Plex isn't for you. Kodi's definitely the thing for you, and although it's not supported anywhere near as much, and as long as you stay legal, Kodi is definitely the one for you. Alternatively, if you don't know where you're going to access your media, if you like the graphical user interface of the things like Netflix and that, where you've got all the images and the photos and the trailers and scores and who acted in this and all that stuff, if you love stuff like that, whether you're going to be internet or network, Plex is unquestionably the way to go on that one. Because although both of them have got base level support of things like playlists and subtitles and thumbnail art and stuff like that, Plex just has a better design. Now, before I wrap things up, because it sounds like I've given Plex a bit of a push there, let's focus on one big downer about Plex. Although the base version is free, if you want all of the features of Plex, the ability to record live TV, something Kodi gives you for free, the ability to access and service and have multiple servers all working together, something Kodi gives you for free. If you want all of those features and functionality, you've got to pay. Plex has a premium version called a Plex Pass, and don't get me wrong, you get a hell of a lot for your money. It's like 5 or 10 quid or something a month, but it's still not a free service. So if you are on an incredibly tight budget, that may make you switch all the way to Kodi without even thinking about it. But this has been Kodi versus Plex. I look forward to telling you more about my MB tests very, very soon. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in buying a NAS, of course, go to the guys at span.com or read the NAS Compare articles below to learn more about these two great multimedia functions. One of them is a server player, the other one's a player. Remember that, very different. Try not to get those mixed up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.